Here are 49 cool facts about the inflation that we bet you did not know. Like our video and subscribe to our channel if you find our content useful. The annual average inflation rate of consumer prices in China ranged at 0.9%. Japan has forecasted to have inflation rates of 1.1% by 2023. Inflation rates in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations ranged from 5.73% inflation in Laos to 1.14% deflation in Malaysia. Inflation rate of Samoa in 2022 is 8.3%. It was minus 3.02% in 2021 and 1.49% in 2020. Stock investors in the US remain worried about inflation, with major indexes falling more than 2% at the opening of trading. According to United States Federal Reserve, ideal inflation rate is 2% per year. Of the major developed and emerging economies, Japan was the country with the lowest inflation rate in July 2022, with 2.6%. As of July 2021, the inflation rate for the United States was forecast to reach 3.41% in 2021 and 2.67% in 2022. According to the forecast, the United States inflation rate will decrease continuously and will be equal to 3.15% in the fourth quarter of 2022. In 2020, the inflation rate worldwide amounted to approximately 3.23% compared to the previous year. The inflation rate in March 2022 was more than twice the rate of 3.7% recorded in March 2021. Global inflation is forecast to reach 5% in 2023, compared with 2001 to 2019 average annual global inflation of 3.8%. Most central banks have a target of low and constant inflation, generally between 1.5 and 4% per year. Cost per index rises 5.5 percentage points between March 2021 and March 2022. The annual inflation rate in France was confirmed at 6.1% in July of 2022, the highest since July of 1985, up from 5.8% in the prior month. According to survey report by year 2023 and 2026, respondents said they expect global inflation rates to average 6.2% and 4.5%, respectively. The average inflation rate in Latin America and the Caribbean amounted to about 6.4% compared to the previous year. As of February 2022, the inflation rate for the United States was set to reach 6.56% in the first quarter of 2022. As of July 2022, the inflation rate in Malta and France was 6.8%. The annual rate of inflation worldwide, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, 6.8% in January 2022. Global inflation forecast to rise to 7.5% by the end of 2022, driven by food, fuel, energy, and supply chain disruption. In the United States, the inflation rate has rocketed from 1.4% in January 2021 to 7.5% in 2022. The inflation rate in US was up at an annualized 8.3% rate in August, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported. By 2023, the inflation rate in Mongolia was forecasted to reach 9%, which would be a significant increase from 2020. In February 2022, the inflation rate in Russia was at 9.15% compared to the same month of the previous year. The annual rate of inflation worldwide, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, accelerated to 9.2% in March 2022. Global Data has revised its 2022 inflation rate projections for Europe upward to 9.4% in July 2022. Year-on-year inflation in the OECD, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, rose to 9.6% in May 2022. As of July 2022, the inflation rate in the European Union was 9.8%. Food price inflation in the OECD continued to surge, reaching 12.6% in May 2022 compared with 11.5% in April. By year 2022, UK average house prices increased by 15.5% over the year to July 2022, up from 7.8% in June 2022. Inflation rate in urban Nigeria is 16.44%. Nigeria recorded one of the highest inflation rates in the world at around 17%. Global Data forecasts the Middle East and Africa region's inflation rate to remain high at 18.7% in 2022. In July 2022, prices in the United Kingdom's housing and household services sector were 20% higher than a year earlier. As of July 2022, Estonia had an inflation rate of 23.2%. Inflation rate in first quarter of 2022 in Israel is 25 times as the rate in first quarter of 2020. Inflation rates have doubled in 37 of 44 advanced economies over the past 2 years, according to Pew Research Center analysis. Inflation was seen by just 40% of people in Great Britain as being one of the most important issues facing the country in 2022. UK inflation is increasing at nearly its fastest rate in 40 years. Turkey had highest inflation rate in the first quarter of 2022, at 54.8%. Inflation rate in Sri Lanka skyrocketed to 54.6% in June 2022. Turkey has one of the highest inflation rates in the world. In June, consumer prices rose 78.6% year-over-year. Monthly price per index in US is 139.81%. In July 2022, the global consumer price index, excluding the United States, stood at 182.23, compared to 151.21 for the United States. In June 2022, the global producer price index, excluding the United States, stood at 175.96. In the United States, the index value amounted to 162.23. According to Trading Economics Jan 2022, Venezuela has highest inflation rate of 1,198%. At the end of 2021, Venezuela had the highest inflation rate in the world, at 1,588% change compared to the previous year. According to the results of a survey, a majority of households across India perceived an increase in inflation in March 2020. Please subscribe to my channel for more exciting videos.